Hey guys, I'm April from Giggle Glitter Graphics, and welcome to Freebie Friday, which is part 3 of the Frostbound Forest. The Frostbound Forest Storycraft Kit is an 8-part series that combines paper crafting with storytelling. Each part has a paper crafting project and a piece of a story that you put into a journal. When everything is complete, it will all fit inside of a decorative box. If you're a member of my email list, you will get this sent directly to your email around noon Eastern today. If not, you can use the link in the description down below to sign up and get parts 1 through 3 sent to you immediately. This is a limited time freebie and will only be available until March 14th of 2025. After that, it will be available for sale in my Etsy shop. Today, we are building a keepsake box for our main character, as well as adding on to the story in our journal. There are 10 pages, all of which will be printed on cardstock, except for this page with the little mini book on it. This one is printed on paper. As a reminder, I use 110-pound cardstock and 32-pound copy paper. Links for these and all other supplies can also be found in the description down below. Supplies today are super simple. You just need scissors to cut everything out, a bone folder or the back of your scissors or your thumbnail to do your creases. I'm also using Beacon Fabri-Tac as my glue, and the only distress ink I have used today is Vintage Photo. When we get to the journal portion of our crafting, I might add weathered wood or pumice stone to those pieces. I haven't decided yet, so I'm kind of waiting to make that decision, and I'll let you know when I know. So let's start off by building the box. I'm going to move some of these extra pieces out of the way for now. And we're going to start with these 2 larger panels. And then there's a bunch of little pieces here I've got off to the side. Everything with wood on it, with the exception of these little specimen type boxes, is part of the box. So you're going to need the top, the bottom, and the 2 sides, as well as these 2 panels. We have a little false extra bottom, and then the supports for that, and 1 little pocket. So this box assembly will feel a little familiar and a little different at the same time. You're going to grab your end panels and fold all of those tabs in. And like we have before, we're going to go ahead and glue down these leaf panels. I'm going to grab my glue. Just put a little right in here. And then I'm going to repeat that for the second one. You might notice that there is one that is a little more white and one that's a little more cream. That just kind of goes along with the pattern on the inside of the box. The whiter one goes to the right and the more cream one goes to the left. Now let's start building this bottom box piece. There are several places to crease this. There is 1 crease between the wood panel and then the interior pattern. There are 2 lines that run right down this area. So we're going to fold up. So now we're building a front wall like so. And then there's this back piece with the tab. We're going to fold up here. So we get that kind of this shape. And then you can give this tab a little fold just to firm up that crease. And it's actually going to tab into the lid hinge area. So we don't really need to worry about that too much right now. So I'm going to fold over. Give these a nice sharp crease. And then fold this back onto itself and crease here. Now you can see there's a little bit of white showing. I'm going to go ahead and grab my distress ink and hit that with a little bit of distress ink just to kind of clean that up. I could also, let me look at my crease and make sure that I'm right on it. And now I'm looking and I got my crease off just a little bit right there, and that is why I have so much white showing. So I'm going to back that up just a little bit. I'm just going to kind of push it and press down. This is a quick way to kind of fix those creases, and then that's going to really minimize that, the appearance of that on there. So I was able to bump that out better onto the line. So if you have things that aren't lining up, it's probably that your crease is just a little bit off. And that's totally fixable. You can just kind of force it to go where you want it to go. So there we go, all nice and neat, fixed up. So now this one has the yellow tint, it's on the left, more of a white tint on the right. I'm going to glue these tabs underneath here, underneath the bottom of the box. So let's get some glue on the tab. And I don't have distress ink on the seams here. It's a lighter pattern, so I wasn't too worried about it. And this pattern isn't going to line up perfectly, but those areas get covered up, so don't worry about that. So make sure you're centered. Same thing on the other side. Should be a pro at box building by now. Slide that right underneath. There we go. That crease was slightly off as well. All right, next we're going to glue these tabs. So let's start with the front of the box. I'm going to flip this. We're going to do like we normally do. We're going to bring those tabs in and then fold over, but this time we're going to the outside. We usually go to the inside. Today we're going to the outside. So we're going to run that glue right up both sides, so we're sure to catch that tab really well. And then glue all along at least one of these panels. And we're going to stand it up. Press those tabs right into the glue and then fold that front over. And make sure you push those corners in nice and tight. Now the back, we are not going to fold over onto the tabs. We're simply going to glue the tabs down to the back. So we're just going to put some glue here and here, and then press those tabs into the glue. We're going to add on to this box. So nice tight corners is what we're looking for. And that is looking pretty good. So there's the bottom of our little keepsake box. Now we're going to move to the lid. The lid also has several creases on it. We've got one below the locking mechanism. We have a line across here, so we're going to fold that over. There is one above and below the decorative panel. So you can see there's a line across there. So we're going to fold along that line and all caught up this line here so that we have a nice top to our box. Let's go ahead and firm those up. And then there is a tab that's going to kind of roll under the box. So you can give that a little crease. I would wait to really firm that crease up after we've attached this to the bottom of the box. So the first thing we're going to do is take and fold over underneath that lock panel, and I'm going to put some glue and glue that down so that's now double-sided. This is a front flap for our box. Like so. I am going to grab my dauber and put a little bit of distress ink along here. I should have done that probably before I glued it down, but shaking my camera everywhere. Just a little ink along there. Just to tint the paper. But now we're going to grab the bottom of our box, and this is going to be a little fun. I'm going to take the tab that's on our lid and kind of put it underneath, and then this back panel is going to wrap up over the top and attach like so. So we need to glue this tab to the inside top of the lid, and then this tab will glue underneath. So let's start by putting some glue on the back panel. I'm not putting glue on the inside, the underside of the lid yet. So it's only on this back panel area here. And I'm going to let that working time on the glue let me kind of slip slide this into place. And I can kind of nudge it like so. And let's go ahead and glue that tab down. So I'm just going to stick my glue under here and then glue that tab down. It's a little tricky, but we wanted a nice sturdy hinge on here. So next I'm going to flip my box over and I'm going to glue this tab down. Like that. And now I can take and kind of firm up all of these creases. I can give them like a nice pinch right along my seams, just to firm those up. And I have something that looks like this. And it will open up. So you're going to have to take this back hinge and work it back and forth a little bit to get it broken in. So I'm just going to bend it backward and then forward a couple of times. Like so. And now we've got it opening a little better. Next, let's get these two panels. One has writing on it and the other one is blank. The blank one is for the inside of the lid and it can go any direction. So I'm just going to get some glue on here. Glue that in place. Check your folds. Always check your folds. Make sure everything is folding nicely. You want this to be able to fold over and you want your lid to be able to close. That's looking pretty good. And then I'm going to flip the box over. And the directionality on this doesn't matter too much. It just depends on what you prefer. But we have a little inscription down here. And I'm going to go ahead, put a nice coating of glue here. And pop the bottom on. Get that centered up really well. There we go. And now we have built our little keepsake box. Now our keepsake box is going to have a little kind of secret panel in it. So we're going to build that part. There are 3 pieces that look like this. There is a long one and then 2 short ones, like so. We're going to crease them 1, 2, 3, and then turn them into a little rectangle like this. So we've got 2 short ones and 1 long one. Let's start with the long one. And you can see where this kind of matches our lining. We've got wood on the top, and then we've got 2 tan sides. You can put a little tape on this if that helps you kind of hold it in position. Otherwise, you can just glue it and kind of push it into the corner. I'm going to grab a little bit of tape just to show you. Just a tiny little piece of tape. And you can kind of put that around so it'll hold its box shape a little better. Now I'm going to glue on the tan and the tan. We're not going to glue the leaf or the wood. We're going to go leaf side away from you, wood side up, and not sticking our fingers in our glue. I'm going to place this right into the front corner of the box. Now you need to leave a little space on either side because these are going to slot in. So you can kind of use these as a spacer and just make sure they're going to fit. Like so. So that one looks like it's fitting pretty well. That looks like it's fitting pretty well. So that is good spacing. So we're going to repeat that now for the other 2. And there's not really a right and a left on these. They look pretty similar. So I'm going to just go ahead and glue the tan and the tan. Wood goes up, leaves go in, and then just going to kind of gently slide that into place. Try not to get glue all up the side of the box when you do it. You could also apply your glue directly to the box. So you could use, if you have a long tip on your glue like I do, you can put your glue directly in place and then locate your tan areas and slide that right down in like that. And then I would give these kind of a little gentle press. You don't want to deform your little boxes. And make sure everything is glued down nicely. Next, we're going to make the removable bottom that sits on top of these spacers. So we're just going to fold this piece right in half. Everything should line up, go corner to corner, like so, and then glue this. Make sure we don't have any glue coming out. And then this doesn't really have a top or a bottom. It's the same both ways. And that should sit right down in on top of those spacers. And then have a little spot for you to be able to pull that out with your finger. There's also a pocket that's going to go right inside the lid. And you want this part of the pocket to be open. So we're just going to put glue along the straight sides. Like so. And I'm going to place this pretty far to the left, right about there. So these feathers need to fit in here as well as the pen, the little fountain pen. So check and make sure you're going to be able to do that. And if you feel like it's going to be a little sketchy, slide it a little further. So probably about yay. Now we're ready to start filling the box with all kinds of goodies. And I'm going to start in the bottom layer. So for the bottom layer, we have a couple of different things. First, we're going to make these little kind of faux vials. There we go. So it's not a full cylinder. It's kind of a half round. And these are going to slot right in like so. Now you can leave these removable. They are kind of wedged in there really well. So if you want to be able to pull them out later, totally fine. They are not finished on the back. Otherwise, you can glue them in. So there are 3 of them, and I'm going to show you how to put it together. So they come flat like this. You're just going to fold both of these tabs in. I'm going to give these a nice press. My bone folder. And I'm going to open that back up, and I'm going to put it over my finger or some other rounded object and curve the front of this. Once you get your little curve going, you can kind of stack those tabs right on top of each other, and you have your little cylinder. I'm going to grab my glue and just put glue on either one of these. It doesn't matter. Try to get kind of a thin coating. And then press one on top of the other. I'm going to grab my scissors and kind of use that to get pressure on the inside, like so. And now I have this little tube shape. There we go. So I'm going to put all 3 of those right in here. And they just kind of snug right in. Now for this space here, we're going to do a little pack of botanical cards. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 in total. They all come flat like this. All you need to do is fold them neatly in half, line up those corners, and then glue them together. And these are going to make nice, sturdy little cards. Got a little smeared glue there on my work surface. Press those together. If they're a little off, you can always trim up the edge a bit if you want. And then this little pack of cards should fit right down in here. There should be just enough room that you can kind of get your finger in to lift them out. You could tie a string around them a long ways and then tie a bow, so you can grab that to pull it out. There should be enough room for a little bit of twine or something like that. We have some room to work with in there. Otherwise, you can just tuck those cards right down in there. So we have our cards and our little sample tubes. I'm gonna put my false bottom in. Next thing we're going to make are these little specimen cases. I wanted them to kind of look like a deep 3D case that holds something. And we have 3 of those to go in here. And I'm going to show you the assembly on that. So you're going to need to crease along here and then right around this frame here, all the way around. So you have 2 creases on each side. One is along the frame and one is the middle of the tab. You also want to make sure that these little tabs are cut all the way to the corners because you'll need to bring these tabs in. So I'm going to fold like so. So there's a little tiny brown border there. And then I'm going to kind of back it up and fold it here. Crease that again. So now that makes kind of the side of my case. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Over, and then this little tab is going to fold over as well. So you have this shape, like so. And then the top, same thing. 1, 2, and the bottom. Both of those creases. Now we're going to take the back of the case, the specimen number, and meet up with this little tab. So the tab is going to get glue. And you're just going to place those together. I like to pinch it from this side just to make sure it's centered, and then slide it up to the edge using my thumb to kind of find that edge. And then if you need to, you can grab scissors and use that as a pressure point to stick those together. You might need to let that dry just slightly. You can fold your tabs in and then close it just like you would close a box. So you're going to put the little tab, little flap right down inside. And then the same thing on the other side. You can glue these in, or if you wanted to maybe add a little something inside later, you can leave them open. It's totally up to you. They should stay closed fairly well, so either should be fine. And now I have this little specimen case. And I do like a little distressing on this. I waited until after I was done and I just kind of hit all the edges. That gets rid of the raw white cut edges, and it gives a little bit of dimension to the whole thing. There we go. And I can drop that right down in there with my other 2. Next, we're going to grab this sheet and we're going to turn this into a mini book. So the first step is to fold this right along that long middle line. And you want to be as neat as possible with this. It'll make your book work a little better. Now I'm going to open it up. And I am going to fold to the center, like so. Again, as neatly as possible. Same thing here to the center. And then I'm going to fold the whole thing in half this way, with the print on the outside. Now with this folded in half, I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to cut only up until this little connection right here. I'm going to cut right to there. Open it back up, fold it in half, and then push it so that this happens. Now you can kind of just fold the whole thing over until it becomes a little book. Now you can play with this a little bit. You can play with the folds, try to get it to line up a little better if it's looking a little cattywampus. And then we're going to glue the backs of some of these together so that the whole book is working better. So you're going to find this little opening here. We've got the front of the book, flip, find this here, and I'm just going to put a little glue in this area here. And I'm going to press those together and make sure those corners line up really nice. Now we're going to flip our pages. This is okay because this is a folded piece. Now we've got an opening here. So I'm going to put a little glue in here, not too much on this side, just a little. And then I'm going to glue this side pretty well. Stay away from the big middle crease because you might cause yourself more problems than anything else. And I'm going to line that up. Give that all a press. And then I'm going to let this dry before I do a final tough crease on it. So once it's dry, I'm going to go ahead and form my little book and give this a really good solid crease all the way around. So I'm catching all of those edges. And then I am going to add a little distress ink to this. You can go through and do all the individual pages. I might do that. You're going to hide any white edges and just make it feel a little more real and worn and used. You could add a little ink to the front, dirty it up a bit. And once you are happy with the way that this looks, you can go ahead and add that to the box. So I'll just tuck that in right there. Now we're left with a lot of our kind of fussy cut pieces. Now this is going to be like last week where you can decide to just stay with one side or you can go with both sides. If you want to do both sides and you're cutting by hand, go ahead and cut an identifying area like the point of the pen and maybe the butt of the pen. Then glue them together back to back. Once it's dry, then you can finish cutting out all around the edges. Now I've cut mine really tight up against. There's no border on these. They are borderless. But if you want to leave a little space all the way around because that makes it easier for you to cut, by all means do that. 100% do that. So I'm just going to glue these back to back really quickly. And this just makes them nice and sturdy, so they're going to last you a lot longer than just single layer flimsy cardboard. I try to design everything in this kit so that it'll last and it can be handled and it'll feel nice when it's handled. So there is our magnifying glass. Let's see if we can get this guy to behave a little more. If this is popping up and you don't like it, go ahead and put a little string around it. There's room here for you to add a string. Maybe I'll stick my magnifying glass underneath. There we go. So magnifying glass, little book. And then real quick, this bug embellishment is going to go right on the pocket. So I'm going to place that right here. And then I'm going to glue these back to back really quickly. And once I have these glued, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slide these into my little pocket. Let's see, let me open my pocket up just a little bit. I was having trouble getting it started, and I can stick the feather in as well as the pen. If you find the little stem of the feather to be a little too fiddly, this here, you can always cut it a little shorter. It's not as nice, but you can cut that off a bit, or you can leave a border around to leave room, or you can put your feather in this way. If you feel like you're worried about damaging it, putting it in this way, you can go the other way, like so. Now that I have everything in my box, turn this around. We need something to secure it. If you need to, you could wrap some twine or something around it, but I'm going to go ahead and use my friend, the Velcro dot. So I have my Velcro dots here. I'm just going to grab one of each. And I think one should hold this shut well enough. So I'm going to put let's make sure I know which side is which. So we got the clear side and the white side. And I'm going to put the clear side, here in the middle. So let's flip it around, white side on the top. I'm going to find the center of this and place this like so, right in the middle. Oops, it stuck to my thumb. Make sure your Velcro pieces are together and then give that a little press. And now you should have a little Velcro closure to keep this shut for you. Now, real quickly, I'm going to show you where this goes in the box. It just slides in right here next to your journal. And then we've got some more things that are actually going to go in this side. So your shaker is going to go right on top of your journal like that. But let's move on to decorating our journal pages and continuing our story. So I have my journal and I'm just going to flip to the next blank page, which is right here. And let's grab this window pocket. So 3 tabs. We've done this before. Got 3 tabs for our pocket, 2 sides, then the bottom. And we're going to glue this pocket in right here. Now, I have not put any distress ink on this yet, and I think some might look really nice. And we haven't used pumice stone yet. So I'm going to grab pumice stone. And let's see how that looks around the edges. Because now snow is falling in our story. So I wanted to bring some of this gray in. I might move to more grays and blues and a little less of the green. We'll see. I think it's going to depend item to item. So there's a little pumice stone around this. So let's go ahead and glue that in. And I'm going to try, let's put a little there, a little there. And let's press that down a bit. And then, whoops, butterfingers right now. A little glue on each tab. And then we're going to turn this so that the curved opening goes to the right-hand side. So we're going to slide something in there and then just center this up on the page. Next, we have this curtain panel. And we're going to fold this right in half down the middle. So line up those little points. And line up the bottom as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this together. And we're going to make a little curtain for our window. And I think it would be nice if we did the edges of this in weathered wood because it does have a little blue tint to it. Got my dauber for weathered wood. Should let your glue dry before you do this. Hopefully I don't get anything on my dauber, but I'm just going to do all the edges here in the weathered wood. We're going to glue this curtain right on the window. And what I want to do is I'm going to kind of bend down a little triangle here. Just give it like a little, right like that. Just a little boop. And let's fold that back and forth a couple times. The size of the triangle doesn't matter too much. We just want to create a little lift point so that you can lift up the curtain and look out the window. And then a little glue right on that triangle. And then let's line it up with the corner of the pocket. While that is drying, let's make the card that goes inside the pocket. We've got our journal entry here. This just gets folded in half. And we're going to glue the back sides together. Give that a press. And then I'm going to do the weathered wood around this as well. And with that done, I am just going to slide my card right inside of this window pocket. So now that's going to peek out just a little. And then you have your curtain. You can move the curtain away and look out the window. Alternatively, if you wanted to, you could do a fold, like a flip up here and pull the curtain up, or you could fold here and turn the curtain that way. I just like being able to see the full scene, so I went ahead and did the corner. So there's a little room for creativity there. So let's flip to the next blank page, and we have one more page to do. And now we have another pocket with the rest of our journal entry in it. You know what to do with this. 3 tabs, folds it over. And I've got weathered wood stress ink on all the rest of the pieces here, except for that key. I haven't done anything on the edges on the key. I haven't really been doing the fussy cuts, but you absolutely could do the edges of the fussy cuts if you want to hide uneven edges or something like that. So this little pocket is going to go right like that on the page. And then I might have gone overboard. You have 4 of these cards, larger versions of the cards in our keepsake box. Again, we're just going to fold these over in half and give them a glue. Like so. And we'll see if these all are going to fit or not. I did not test this. A little bit of ink there. Let's grab our key because the key is going in there as well. And we're just going to glue that back to back. This is the key for our keepsake box, but it could be a key for anything. But in my imagination, this was for the box. There we go. It's got 2 sides now. And let's see how much of this will fit. So we've got all 4 of these cards. Start tucking them in there and see when it gives up. We might be all right if we just kind of stagger them and look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our little key. Let's sandwich that in there and let it poke out and be mysterious. So there we go. So there are our 2 journal entries, 2 pages for this week, and our keepsake box. I hope you're really still enjoying this project. I know I am. This has been so exciting to put together for you all, and I'm excited to send this out as a freebie for you all to try and tell me what you think. So please comment below. Tell me what you think of this series. There is going to be part 4 next week. I'm excited to share it with you. Please like and subscribe and join the email list, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.